Good morning. I didn't put that this is lesson 9.6 on the sheet, but here we go. We're going to have a section here where you are reviewing all the conic sections that we've gone over. Okay? A conic section are all the shapes you can get when you slice a cone with a plane. Now, when we talk about cones in math, it's not ice cream cones. That would be good too. But what you're doing is you're taking a line, holding it in one spot, and you're spinning it in circles. So you get two halves that look like two ice cream cones point to point. Okay? Now, when we talk about the different conic sections, we're taking a plane. Back to this definition. You're taking a plane and you're hitting this cone. Okay, both naps, they're called naps. Okay, and maybe someone would pronounce that different. But we're hitting that plane or that cone in different ways. So if we take it and cut it right through the middle, we're going to get just the point, right? And if we take that plane and we hit it just right, we can get the line. Now you got to realize that could go on. All right. And then of course a circle, you'd hit it just right here and you get a nice circle. An ellipse, you're cutting it diagonally, so then you'd get your ellipse. All right, undo those. Okay, a parabola. If you miss hitting the line and instead you hit the cone with the parabola, with the cone, with the plane, there we go, you could get a parabola, and it is more pointed than that typically because here it's going to hit that kind of at a point, but not really because it's curved, it's a solid. And then if you hit it this way, you get a parabolic looking curve here and here. Well, that's what makes our hyperbola. So when we look at the possible conic sections, I'll come back to that. We looked at point, line, circle, ellipse we looked at before we looked at parabola and hyperbola. Okay? So we're going to take a look at each of those. I wanted to make note, you should be able to copy this as you watch it, if you pause and copy it. It's about an hour long, maybe more. It's on Khan Academy, I believe. And it is a nice YouTube video, probably a little more detailed than what we're accustomed to. But that might be well worth your time to watch it. Okay? And I know some of you are always watching sports on your YouTube instead. Maybe you want to take time to do this time. Okay, so we're going to go to the parabola. Okay? To recognize if the equation is a parabola or not, note if x and y are both squared. If neither are squared, it's a line. If only one is squared, then you have a parabola. This one I put in vertex form. Remember, your h is going to be subtracted from your x before you square it. K is what's added on after you square it. So in this case, our vertex is 2, 1. The 3 is going to change how quickly it rises. Instead of just being like this, it's going to be much steeper. And you could plot the points. Some of you use Desmos. Okay. This is the new form. When we see x squared equals 4py, or if you switch the x and y, okay, since 2 equals 4p, p has to equal 1/2. So then when you go to graph this, okay, p is going to be 1/2 above for the focus, 1/2 below for the directrix. Here again, only one of them squared. This one happens to be pointing sideways. Okay. I'm going to go back to this because we got room. This one, my vertex is still going to be from that H and K. Okay, remember H is with the X, K is with the Y. They're opposite of what they assume look like they're going to be. On this first equation, we go Y equals because of our calculators. But if you move the 1 over to join the Y, it would be Y minus 1. So your K is 1. Okay, 4P equals 8, so P is 2. It's positive, it's going to go in the positive direction. So we got negative 3, 4 for our vertex. Oh, I did negative 4, 3, sorry. Negative 3, 4 for our vertex. And the P is positive, I'm going to go to the right, so my focus is going to be at negative 1, 4. So it could probably move over a little bit. And my directrix will be behind it. It's going this way. Right? Circle. Both X and Y are squared, and the coefficients are the same. Okay? So in standard form, but now we're shifting it away from 0, 0. And you will get accustomed to doing this. Okay. So that would be our standard form, easy to graph form. And this one, it's almost there, but that 20 is on the wrong side of the equal sign. So my center is going to be 0, 3, and my radius would be the square root of 20. And you're big kids now, you got to simplify those square roots if you can. Don't try to get away with not doing that. Okay, and we could graph that. Because now we would go to 0, 3, and the radius is 2 squared roots of 5, about 4.5, and we'd go out 4.5 on each side and draw our circle. Looks more like an ellipse, even an ellipse that's half flat. Okay, that one's kind of messy. Okay, when it is not grouped for you, you have to do the grouping, and you'll have to complete the square. Okay, so remember how I said you got to be able to complete the square. We'll be using it later. Now is later. How much later can you get than May, right? Okay, remember how to complete the square. You take half of this number to put in the parentheses, and then you square it to add, but remember to add it to the both sides, not just your favorite side. Okay, for the y's, the same thing. Y minus half of 10 is 5. Squared is 25 plus 25. So we're getting 49. So now we can see our center is negative 3, positive 5, and our radius is square root of 49, 7. I threw this other one in. Notice you got x squared and y squared. The coefficients are not 1, but they are the same. Okay, so when you do this one, you can multiply everything by 2. So then you'd have x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 10y minus 20 equals 0. And then we could go back and complete the square just like we did the other one. Okay, so we could have x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 10y equals 20. So when we complete the square, this will be x minus 1, so we'll add 1 to both sides, and y plus 5, and add 25 to both sides. Okay, so that looks like 46. Probably didn't do a great job picking my numbers. So my center is going to be 1, negative 5, and my radius will be the square root of 46. 46 is 2 times 23, so that's not going to change. Okay, I'm going to check something. Okay, In an ellipse, both x and y are squared, but coefficients are different. And again, you may have to work to get it to look right. But remember that HK is going to be your center. The way I do it, A is going to be the distance from the center in the x direction. Okay? And B is the distance from the center in the y direction. Okay? And C is going to be on the longer axis, the major axis. On the major axis. And C squared is the difference of A squared and B squared. Always make it positive. It's going to be on the same axis as the bigger of the two numbers. Okay? So, oh, this one's a mess. All right, let's get to work. 16x squared minus 96x plus 25y squared plus 50y equals 231. Okay, now before I can complete the square, I got to divide out that 16. So that's going to be 6, isn't it? And same for the 25 with the y squared. And yes, I could try these so that they would work out. Okay, so when I complete the square, this will be x minus 3 squared, so I add 9, but I'm not adding 9, I'm adding 16 times 9, so I have to add 144. Okay, and with the 25, that's going to be y plus 1 squared, so I'm adding 1, but I'm really adding 25. Okay, so when we do that, it's going to be 0, I think it's 400. You could tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is I want to make it equal 1. So when I divide out 400, now it's going to look nice. X minus 3 squared over 9 plus y plus 1 squared over 16 equals 1. And that is nice, because those both have perfect squares. Okay, so my center is going to be 3, negative 1. I'm going to go 3 right and left from that. Okay, so 3, negative 1. 3, negative 1 is my center. I'm going to go 3 to the right and 3 to the left. So that's 0, negative 1, 6, negative 1. And I'm going to go 4, because square root of 16 is 4, 4 up and down from that. So this is going to be 3, negative 1 instead of 3, 4, or 3, 3. I'm sorry, I added to the wrong one. 3, 3. And this would be 3, negative 5, I believe. Okay, so now I can sketch my ellipse. Hey, not even too bad. Okay, so my major axis is vertical, and its length is 8. The minor axis is horizontal, obviously, and its length is 6. My foci, they are going to be on my major axis. I'm going to go back to my pretty color. They're going to be on my major axis. The difference between 9 and 16 is 7, so it's going to be the square root of 7 up and down from my 3, negative 1. So I'll have 3, negative 1, plus or minus the square root of 7. I changed the y. Okay, we do not have time to look at hyperbolas on this one. I will try to on another video. Be careful if you don't get to it. Be careful when you complete the square for the negative part. Make sure you distribute the negative number. Otherwise, it's like the ellipses.